Hello, I'm Jonathan Mason, and in our last video we looked at carbohydrates and why we need them. But not all calories are the same. As I had previously stated, calories come from our food in the form of proteins, carbohydrates, fats and alcohols. Today I'm going to be talking about fats and what part they play in our diets. Fats are the body's default method of storing excess energy so that you can use it at a later stage when required. But fats are a lot more than just storage of energy. Fats are absolutely essential for the everyday functioning of our bodies to maintain our general physical and mental health. This makes fats one of the main food sources that the body needs. So what are fats? The main way to differentiate fats from proteins and carbohydrates is their solubility in water. Proteins and carbohydrates are soluble in water, whereas fats are not. But there are a few exceptions like short-chain and medium-chain fatty acids. The other question normally asked is, what is the difference between fats and oils? Now both these are fats, but when fat remains solid at body temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius, it is called a fat. Whereas if it becomes a liquid at body temperature, it's called an oil. Now coconut oil is a typical example of this. It is solid in a jar when purchased, but if you put it onto your body, it quickly becomes a liquid. In the body, most fats are referred to as lipids. There are a number of lipids in the body as they act as carriers of nutrients and other minerals around the body. So when the nutritionists talk about the absorption and metabolism of lipids in the body, they are referring to the absorption of fats and oils. There are four main categories of fats, but I'm not going to get into an in-depth discussion of what makes up the fats of the body, but rather I'm going to talk about what we commonly hear about and read about on the labels of food, and that is saturated and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats have been blamed for a lot of the ills in our modern day society. They have been linked to chronic heart disease, stroke and obesity. Yet the remarkable fact is that most of the essential foods that we eat have saturated fats in them. This is rather a disturbing fact, as how can we eat a well-balanced diet without eating saturated fats? Well, the simple truth is that we do not have to. Our bodies were naturally designed to eat these foods, and our bodies have the mechanisms to convert saturated fats into unsaturated fats. So what is the difference between a saturated and an unsaturated fats? Saturated fats are long-chain fatty acids. In other words, they are a long continuous string of fat molecules in our body, whereas an unsaturated fats are strings of fat molecules that are not continuous, but are broken up by double bonds. The body can break down the saturated fats into unsaturated fats on its own, but only up to a certain point. And this point of desaturation is when the body has desaturated fats into oleate. But after this point, it needs to rely on our diet to do the rest. And only plants are capable of desaturating oleate into linoleate or omega-linoleate. This process is able to be reversed by the body if it needs to be. This process is vital for the creation of polyunsaturates. Polyunsaturates are essential to our bodies, but one of their biggest peculiarities of polyunsaturates is that they compete with each other. Now, the body would normally regulate this competition between these oils, but the excessive consumption of processed oils interferes with this process. It is believed that other nutrients that are contained in the natural foods help to restore the balance between the polyunsaturates. So while supplementation of these oils is important when you have a deficiency, it is not as important as a correction of your diet, which will help to restore the long-term health of your body. Let us talk about processed oils. We need to consume plants that give us the oils that we need to break down the saturated fats into linoleic acid. These oils are oils like sunflower, safflower, nut oils and fatty seeds, like the flax seeds and the sesame seeds, etc. These oils should be the unprocessed ones, as the hydrogenation removes the unsaturated bonds in the lipids. This results in trans fats. Now, trans fats are very similar in structure to saturated fats in so much as they are long, unbroken strings of fat molecules. The recent scientific research has raised some serious questions over the effects of trans fats. These trans fats are found in all processed oils. These are oils and fats are sometimes labeled as hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated. In fact, avoid all oils that have been exposed to heat treatment or biological processing. This would include margarine, which is also a processed fat, whereas butter is a natural fat. The body cannot break down these oils properly as it does not have the capacity to do so, whereas saturated fats in the body can be easily handled with a well-balanced diet. The importance of these polyunsaturated fats is extensive and ranges from infant brain and visual development to mental illnesses like schizophrenia. Deficiencies in these fats have also been laid at the door of cystic fibrosis and Zellweger syndrome. It is predicted that a more balanced diet like that of Paleolithic times, where no processed foods were consumed, would lead to a lower level of incidence of degenerative diseases. So what fats should we consume? The best quality fats are found in natural foods like meat, fish, nuts and vegetables. The more wild or free-running the animal or fish is, the better the quality of meat and fats it will have. Cold water sea fish have been found to be the most beneficial oils and fats. Their quality far outweighs the commercially farmed warm water fish. This is also true for land-based animals. The animals that are given a more free-range pasture where they can exercise have a far greater quality of meat and fat than those that are restricted in their movement. The vegetables that have also been grown more wild or organically have shown to have a far greater quality than those that have not. How this affects the hydroponics and aquaponic farmers, I don't know, as their products may be free of pesticides, etc., but whether the plants can synthesize their own nutrients that we expect from them is something that needs far more research. Cholesterol is also regarded as a lipid. Cholesterol is vital to almost every living organism. The only organism that does not have cholesterol is bacteria. But there is a difference between dietary cholesterol, in other words, the cholesterol that we eat, and the cholesterol that runs around our bodies. Our bodies have the ability to make its own cholesterol. In other words, we can synthesize within ourselves the cholesterol that we need. So consuming moderate amounts of dietary cholesterol will not affect your cholesterol levels much. These moderate levels are between 100 and 400 milligrams a day. Excessive consumption will have an effect. The balance of saturated fats by linoleate and omega-linoleate acid is of great importance for the balance of your cholesterol levels. The most important of these to help you balance your cholesterol levels are cold-pressed sunflower oil or cold-pressed organic and non-GMO corn oil, virgin olive oil and cold-pressed rapeseed oil, cold-pressed flax or cold-pressed non-GMO soybean oil is also great for regulation of your LDL cholesterol. So how much fat should we consume? The world of science is a little uncertain of exactly how much fat we should consume. The Western diet ranges between 50 to 100 grams and provides between about 35 and 40% of our energy requirements. The realization of what types of fats we consume is of great importance. Oils like sunflower oil is extremely healthy when it is cold pressed, and it can be consumed in larger quantities than would normally be suggested. But the fact that the sunflower oil is one of the most processed oils makes it very unhealthy, and its use should then be restricted. But the essential fatty acids found in plants like nuts and fish are important to consume. It is suggested that the polyunsaturated fats should be between about 6 and 10% of our daily diet. In past episodes, I have shown extensively how to calculate carbohydrates and the proteins consumed. The fats are no different from these calculations. So to avoid this video being too long, I humbly refer you to these videos, and I will leave a link in the description box below. So how well did my meals stack up as far as the fats are concerned? Well, Google doesn't give you the recommended daily values for the polyunsaturated fats or the monounsaturated fats. So we'll just have to look at the total fats intake. Now for this meal, the total consumed daily value of fats is 32.3% and the daily value of saturated fats is 53.8%. I think as far as the fats are concerned, this meal has stacked up pretty well, considering there are still 2 other meals plus snacks in between if desired. Now, in my next video, I'll be summarizing the macronutrients, that is the proteins, the carbohydrates and the fats, where we'll look at their interdependence in making up a well-balanced diet. Now, if you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, then please subscribe, like and share it amongst your friends. If you have type 2 diabetes, then please go to my website and view my free reverse type 2 diabetes program. All the links are in the description box below. And remember to private message me if you want my free nutritional calculator. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.